how are the Flames going to approach this? Like, Byron, you're watching from close by in the city. Craig Conroy's in. This is not an easy set of objectives in place, because I believe, and we don't know it to be fact, but I believe that his task is to keep this club competitive, make the playoffs. But I also think he understands that this team could get really old really quick if you just bring back your 7 free agents, to mention on the back end 4 of your top 5 defensemen working from the top: Hanifin, Tanev, Zadorov, and a wild card in Shillington, but young and the type of player that they're going to need. If he's good, you need to keep him. And then up front, just your number 1 center, your number 3 center, and your top scoring winger. That's all for free agents. This is quite a spot that Craig Conroy walks into this year.
Yeah, no, for sure. And he's got the 16th pick. He's got all these balls in the air. He's got, all these UFAs. So I think the play is, I'm sure he's trying to sign some of them or all of them, but I think he's definitely probably going to trade one of them and try and get another first round pick. And I've heard that maybe they bundle that up and try to get, higher, try to get at the back end of the top 10 or something like that. I think it's more, get another pick maybe in the teens and then keep both of them. And then, this youth movement that he's talking about, get a couple good pieces that wouldn't be available in most other drafts, but you're going to get a couple good players in, that kind of 15 to 20 hole. So I think that might be the move is get a couple picks in there and then hope that they work out as good as they look and as good as this draft is supposed to be. Because, if you're in win now and this is a really good draft, you can get a couple picks, but then if you go to the next draft and then it's not as strong or something, then you can't get the players there. So I think that's the move is, probably something like Hanifin, trade him off, get the pick, and then make both of them. And hopefully both of them are in the NHL within 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. So Joel, I hear what Byron's saying. And I think at this point, the hard part is I don't have to tell you if I'm signing or not. I can take my sweet time. I've got a year until free agency. I don't know what the market's going to bear. I don't know which teams are competitive a year from now. I don't know what the cap's going to be even in a year. I got some ideas, but I'm just not in a hurry to make up my mind. That's probably what Craig Conroy's facing with 3, 4, 5 of these 7 UFAs. That's he's going to have to probably say, I don't know that this guy will or won't resign, but I can see what his market value is, and I might have to make a move right here.
Yeah, and I think the thing that he's becoming familiar with, and he's talked about this quite a bit, about just like the wishy-washiness or just the indecisiveness. Guys that say like, yeah, no, like we can continue to talk and et cetera, et cetera. And I think he's talked about this a ton in the media that even I've seen of him just saying, I have to learn a lesson from that. And so we'll see what lesson he learns. But I mean, the obvious lesson should be look early. Look to see what the trade market is early on those players and see what you can do, see what the options are. I mean, he was under Brad Treliving, who it just seemed like Brad was one to kind of ask everybody what was going on. I think he'll take a page from that. But I think in my mind, at least, I've kind of just accepted that there's probably a couple of players that have already said like, I don't know, or I don't want to. And
or
those are just
I'm pricing myself out of here. I want 10 and I'm not a $10 million player. Do what you need to do.
Yep. And so if that's the case, I mean, it's an easy spot to try to get a couple of high picks, bring in a couple of younger players and go from there.
So if you can get another top 20 pick for one of those, whether it's Lindholm or Hanifin, is that enough, or is that a centerpiece to a deal? I mean, obviously the market's going to dictate what guys are worth. You need betting wars. You can't just have one person you're talking to. And if you allow, Lindholm and or Hanifin to say, oh, negotiate with these guys. Well, I only like the offer of this team. Well, now you've lost your leverage. It's kind of a tough spot there. But if you can get your paws on another pick in the teens and then maybe a couple other pieces, like I sort of think the market, Byron, for a D-man, and we've seen different types of them, but it seems like the safe sort of C level for the trade would be a first and 2 seconds. That's what you saw for a young Dougie Hamilton who hadn't quite proven himself, for a Travis Hamonic who didn't bring offense, but had a value deal going. It's also what you saw with Hampus Lindholm, who was acquired at the deadline to Boston and then re-upped. A first and 2 seconds is becoming a really common package that you'll see for good defensemen, and Noah Hanifin is one. Would that sort of be a starting point where you think, yeah, if in this year's draft especially, let's do this?
Yeah, I think definitely that sounds just about right for me. Or you have like the, kind of mid first rounder coupled with, like kind of like a B level prospect, not like one of these guys that's knocking on the door. And as soon as he makes NHL, he's going to turn into a star, like a Cooley type, not that type, but more like a Peyton Krebs type thing where he's there, he's around, he's about to make the NHL, but probably kind of more in like a middle six role. So I could see that, like a first and a player like that, or a first and 2 seconds really makes sense.
Yeah, you float Krebs. That's interesting. There's been a bunch of proposals out there that media people have put together. Not here's what I'm hearing, but here's what the type of package I think would work. And Krebs and Buffalo was one that made sense. He came over in the Vegas deal for Jack Eichel. He's a guy that showed some upward movement last year in his game. Buffalo likes him, but do they like his upside or adding another top 4 defenseman more to a Buffalo team that looks like they're coming out of this rebuild pretty quick all of a sudden? That's an interesting name to bring up.
Okotoks guy too.
Well,
so
local, yeah.
Local.
Okay. So that's where the Flames are at in terms of 7 guys. I'm not as worried about the Backlund Tanev situation, even Toffoli, in the sense that these aren't franchise pillars for the next 5 to 10 years, whereas Lindholm and Hanifin, they're going to dictate max term. You can sell off a couple of guys at the deadline, or you know what, we're competitive more than we thought. We're willing to take Michael Backlund straight to UFA, and maybe he doesn't resign. We're losing for nothing, but we think we're good enough that we could keep him. Is that sort of how you'd view this group? Like the older guys you will take into the season as UFAs, or no?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, taking off your Homer Calgary Flames thing. I mean, Backlund's been there since the start. Obviously, wants
Career
to be captain.
Flame. Yeah.
Like you kind of want to give him that respect and give him the deal and give him the captaincy. But yeah, I think I agree. I mean, yeah, they both coming off career years. If you sell Toffoli right now based on that crazy year he had, like, can you get something like really good for this draft? So. Yeah, I mean, I see it the same way that the other two are certainly worth more, and you probably want to iron that out before the draft comes along. But I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with that one, with what you want to do there.
Yeah, you certainly want to know what they're worth, and you certainly want to know what it's going to take to bring guys back. And I think you do that for all 7 guys. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the thing I keep coming back to is you can't afford to mess up a Lindholm or a Hanifin. Mm-hmm. They're too rare of pieces to come along. Like I try to imagine this team without Elias Lindholm, and I'm like, where's their center depth?
Yeah.
It's 34-year-old Nazem Kadri in a year, and Michael Backlund's out of a contract. Who's after Kadri? That's it. That's not a competitive team. I mean, if you got 3 guys like Kadri, you're in great shape, but just him? No. So don't let him turn into dust. Yeah. Gone, right?
Yeah.
And you're right about Toffoli. It's where the cap is and what he's making and the production he just had. That'd be a really nice piece at a low number for a contender to bring. And maybe it is at the draft. You can say, you know what? We are not getting the answers we want from Lindholm and Hanifin. We're going to push into the season a bit, but we did manage to get our paws on a first for Toffoli or something like that.
Yeah.